to the Greatness in Leadership Management Day. We're here at the NMAC Center. It's brought to you by Teamwork Training. We had the opportunity to wander the floor here, talk to a few people who are here to see the event. Also the opportunity to talk to the great speakers that delivered their great messages of hope and inspiration. So that's all coming up today, Greatness in Leadership one-day management event.
For the warm and wonderful introduction. I really mean that in light of the fact that I come from Georgia, where it is probably 70 today.
This is Emma from Chinook High School and her friends. Hello. Emma, explain to me what you guys are here for and what you were expecting to see while you're here.
Well, we're just here volunteering with our school because we're part of leadership, so it's basically about like building as characters. So we're just here to help out and continue being friends and yeah, building relationships.
Well, what a great opportunity it is to see some of these amazing speakers. What do you know about some of them?
I know the Mark dude is like one of the hockey players, right?
Oh, Mark Messier, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
My mom's a big fan of him, so that's pretty cool.
What do you guys know about Martin Luther King III?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet?
Yeah.
You have any concept about him?
No, but I'll learn today.
Very good.
That's why I'm here.
And what's the biggest thing you want to take from this?
How to become a better leader, because we're part of leadership, and how to do teamwork and
good.
Yeah.
As teamwork, let's hear it for Emma.
Ayos tapakapio panikankas kutumataka kinati tapi ayakanas kusigig dance kutumakonika kanasuka tikat.
This is France's first Charger who's here with Greatness in Leadership. How big of an event is this for you, and especially in when we have such a prestigious speaker that's speaking today?
I guess as Blackfoot people, we're always happy to greet different people that are coming to Blackfoot country. It's like anyone else, especially a special guest like Martin Luther King. And I'm sure he's got a lot of messages he has to give for everybody to take home with.
Before we start, I would like to acknowledge that we are on traditional Treaty 7 lands, and certainly thank our Indigenous partners for their help with kicking off today's ceremonies. A round of applause if you would.
Ryan Miller, the day is here. It's coming together. What's going through your mind? We're just ahead of Martin Luther King III.
Well, what an amazing start to a program with our First Nation folks, and yes, it's here. Everybody's here, and had a chance to meet with Martin Luther King III last night, and I'm so excited to see him in a few moments here.
And it's so cool to see young kids here. That's really what it's all about in a lot of ways, and these kids are here going to take it all in.
Yeah, the combination of our people that are leading our businesses and leading people in our city and really driving our city here, learning, doing professional development, and then to engage those youth in their learning and mentorship and give the exposure to what a great place Lethbridge is to live is fantastic.
I suppose you're already starting next year.
No, I'm not, Mark. Actually, funny enough, we already have plans for next year, but it's not something I'm thinking a whole lot about right now.
I know I asked this about a lot of people, but is there one particular thing that you really want to see today?
I think engagement that provoking thought, inspiration, that I have a dream, that inspiring greatness, we can inspire our leaders and our upcoming future leaders to do something. And I think that the key message is to leave as a difference maker. What are we going to do as individuals that people are going to celebrate 50, 60 years from now? And that's the key message.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ryan.
Hey, thank you.
The Lethbridge Public Library is honored to once again be a partner in Greatness in Leadership.
I have a dream. We will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Martin Luther King III.
And thanks to all of you for your warm Alberta welcome. Let me express my gratitude to Teamwork Training Limited for making possible my participation in Greatness and Leadership Management Development Day.
Doug, you were the logistics manager of this Greatness and Leadership Management Day. So, how overwhelming is that? And how did you get it done?
It was overwhelming at the beginning until we started achieving milestones, until we started get things accomplished. And Ryan talks about we walked this thing in our mind 1,000 times. I was probably about 300 behind him. and now that the day of, those 300 would have been incredibly valuable.
I know you guys have done this before, so you have a bit of a history, but there's always little things that happen that you didn't know were going to happen, so you got to deal with that.
And so as the logistics, I was making sure all of the magazines were printed, all of the auction items were coming in, the speakers' books were coming in, and clearing all those customs issues because many were coming out of the States. And literally some things were delivered to my house last night at 7 o'clock by Purelator by mistake. And so, and just literally, I called it herding cats. And
I mean, making it successful is being able to deal with things that come up, right? So what's the mindset for that?
We created a team structure. We created the lead for each item, and if we made sure the lead had a clear understanding and who was going to work for them, it made it so much easier. If one person tried to look after everything, we would have literally exploded.
Yeah, actually, you know, that this sort of is perfect for what this whole thing is. It's leadership, and you guys are an example of leadership for the day.
We are a very process-driven company, and we literally took our processes. We've done it before. We knew the model. We just had to build the process underneath, and it was a job.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Here he is, Martin Luther King III. What an honor to meet you. First off, congratulations on the wonderful speech you just gave, and welcome to Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. How does it feel?
Well, quite frankly, last night it was very cold, but today it feels great.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be here, particularly for this conference that brings a variety of leadership to be exposed to a lot of audiences of business and students and reflective of this community. So I'm honored to have the opportunity to have shared today.
What did you think of the facility that we had here? And, you know, of course, we've got a lot of young kids here that you can share your message, which I think is a big deal.
Yes, I'm always happy to speak to young people. They are our future. They are up-and-coming leaders. Some, particularly even in high school, are already leading, providing leadership. And so much of what I talk about is the leadership that my dad and really my mom provided in our nation and world, and how everyone must find their calling. And when you find that calling, you must do those jobs so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn could do them no better.
I was intrigued by the story about how Negroes came from the U.S. to Canada as a form of safe haven. And what I was also really intrigued about, I had heard about this before, but you talked about in the spiritual songs, the codes that they had. That's pretty cool.
Yes, it was. It's amazing to me that my ancestry was, even though you were oppressed, you found a way to communicate a message through music that the overseer would just assume you were sharing another religious message about something to come in the future, not literally realizing that you're talking about this is the way to freedom right now, literally. It was very powerful, profound.
You, of course, you were 10 years old when your father was assassinated, right? Mm-hmm. I often wonder, you know, the world mourned the loss of a great spiritual leader, but what we tend to forget is that a 10-year-old boy lost his father. How did you deal with that? What was that experience like for you? Because I don't know that we can really understand that.
Well, that was certainly one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult experience of my life. To learn, first of all, we learned about it from the evening news. My father had been in Memphis, Tennessee, and on the newscast, we watching the newscast. It wasn't like we were warned. All of a sudden, the newscaster comes up, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has just been shot. And obviously we were frantic. So we ran back to my mom's room. Now, she had already been on the phone talking to Ambassador Andrew Young, and Jesse Jackson also called her to tell her that Dad had been shot. And Ambassador Young said, it's pretty bad, and you probably need to come. So Mom was preparing to go to the airport, but she didn't have an explanation for us at that moment. What she did was she prepared, got to the airport, and once she arrived at the airport, the mayor of the city was there, and he had found out that Dad had actually passed. So he came to her to tell her. She came back home to prepare us. And a day or so later, she went to Memphis to fly with his remains back to Atlanta. And I think I was just in a fog for a number of days and maybe weeks. And dreams, I would have dreams that maybe this was just not true. It was the toughest period of our lives. But I'm thankful that, my mom and others helped provide us with a foundation so that we could continue to move forward. And I had a grandfather and grandmother who were outstanding and had great faith. My grandfather was a pastor, the pastor of Ebenezer Church. Dad was co-pastor. And so because I was around people of great faith, my uncles and aunts, that's what helped us to make it through that very difficult period. And finally, very good friends who were there to support us.
Obviously, you're a person of great optimism and hope, and I know you've met with Donald Trump, and you have your issues, but you're still considering, or you still believe in hope for the future.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm an eternal optimist, and although I think you have to be realistic to understand that we are now in a time where progress may be slowed down, but it's not going to ever be stopped. I think people have the propensity and desire to move forward, and that's what's going to happen, regardless of President Trump maybe feeling like he needs to do things that turn the clock back. I just don't believe that's going to happen.
Finally, thinking about teamwork training brought you in here. How have they treated you right? Because I know people. I can help you out.
Teamwork training has treated us outstandingly. I mean, it has been an extraordinarily wonderful experience. My wife and daughter are here with me as well, and not here at the conference, but they are here. And so this has been a very, very positive and wonderful experience.
One last question. What did you think of David Oyelowo's portrayal of your father?
I think he did a decent job, a very decent job, particularly in light of the fact that he is British. So, I mean, to be able to garner some of the cadence. Now, one of the things that the public probably doesn't know is what they did was they took all of the words of the speeches of my father's and they rewrote them as opposed to using his actual words. Those were not his words. There's a reason why, but that's because the definitive rights to do a film were granted a few years back, to DreamWorks and Steven Spielberg. So they would have had to get permission from Spielberg, and for whatever reason they chose not to do that. So they rewrote a lot of they took the exact speeches. And my higher point is this: I think he did well, and if he was able to do that well with words that were not Dad's, there's no telling what would have happened had he been able to do it with the words, the actual words.
I have a vision. No, that's yeah. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For nearly 50 years ago, in November of 1967, my father, Martin Luther King Jr., came to your beautiful country.
I'd like to ask about how you move forward with the uncertainty of not knowing how we need to change, but that we need to change. And speaking to people when you don't have a shared vision of the change.
If we are consistently in dialogue, we as human beings find out we have far more in common than we do apart. Even though we come from different cultures and different traditions. And I think that is probably the biggest challenge. How do we do that? How do you get people to engage into a common vision? Let's engage. Let's talk. At the end of the discussion, you may have to learn to disagree without being disagreeable. But at least you're saying, okay, I want to be included. I want to understand your point of view. Tell me why you believe this.
We're talking to former MLA Clint Dunford. Want to talk about this Greatness and Leadership Event Day. Your thoughts of what's gone on here today, and the message that it's bringing.
Well, I didn't get here till about 9 o'clock, and I was amazed at the number of cars in the parking lot. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a good day. And I can't get over how Ryan Miller at Teamwork Training, with that early concept that he had of turning Lethbridge into an education center, not only sort of educational-wise with our two post-secondary institutions, but from the business angle as well. And I think today, more than the first two, I think today shows that he's having some success.
And of course, we just heard Martin Luther King III speak. Your thoughts?
I thought it was good, and I thought he got a little political, but maybe that's in the the thing that gets him around. But I did enjoy his comments on the nonviolence. Certainly enjoyed his comments in terms of the world peace and getting young people involved. I'm absolutely amazed by millennials that are here and trying to understand them.
Well, just tweet out to them and it'll be fine.
Well, I got to learn to tweet first, I guess.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Once again, I just wanted to mention the fact that the Davis Auto Group is the sponsor for our VIP reception this evening, and of course they provided the official vehicle of Greatness and Leadership, which is Denali. All right.
Hey, this is Darren Newberger, who is a motivational speaker, you're a coach, and a few other things I've heard, but I don't want to get into that. I want to talk about, you're a motivational speaker. What are you taking from this conference here today?
How lucky Lethbridge is to have an event like this to this caliber in our own backyard. Having Martin Luther King III was amazing, right? Like what a legacy he's leaving behind from his dad and their family. And to have that here in our own backyard is simply incredible.
Yeah. What's your message?
My message is just don't give up on your dreams. Keep going for it. Don't stop. If you have a passion, go live it. Life's too, we don't have a timeline in our lives, so make sure we do everything we can while we're still here.
It is truly an honor to be following Martin Luther King III. His father is truly one of my heroes. And I had the great pleasure, last year I was invited to the White House. And so I had a chance, it's the first time I've been to Washington, D.C.
My job is always to be the master of ceremonies here today, provide a little bit of entertainment, keep things going. Really exciting event. It's always full of energy, so I get to have fun and play.
Tell us what this means to the city of Lethbridge.
This event is great. First of all, you get 800 community and business leaders on the floor. They're here all day. They get to interact. They get to network. Very rarely do you get an opportunity to have all of those leaders together in one place. That's powerful. But I think this event really puts Lethbridge on the map. These are world-renowned speakers. It's a world-class event, and that really kind of showcases what we're capable of doing in Lethbridge.
What's your best Martin Luther King III joke?
I'm going to stay completely away from that one. I'm not going there.
Dennis Chinner joins us here. He used to be with the Chamber of Commerce and, used to be. You were the president, you were the boss, you were the head guy. These are pretty significant days and things that even for someone who's been a leader for a long time, you can always learn something from the people that are speaking today.
Absolutely, Mark. When we look at the city of Lethbridge, a person like Ryan Miller, who has taken on the responsibility, both personally and financially, to bring this caliber and event to Lethbridge, it's completely amazing. It's obvious why you get such an amazing crowd at something like this when you get to see the talent of the speakers that are here today.
Anyone in particular that you say, God, I can't believe he's here. I really want to hear this message.
Yeah, Martin Luther King III. I grew up as a kid listening to Martin Luther King speeches, and it's still, the hair on the back of your neck still comes up when you think about the theme of that speech and the time that it happened.
Hey, it's Daniel Zapula. So nice to see you and talk to you. This is quite the conference. Tell us about what you're expecting today.
Well, this is incredible. It's about greatness. First of all, I want to really personally hear MLK. The third, just really, it's a joy and honor to be in the house.
Sure.
That's one thing. The second thing is I want to build greatness in my own person and in my business, in my charity, in my church, in everything I do. And I think that this is a stepping stone to get me there.
Fantastic. Are there other speakers that you really want to hear about?
That hockey player, I hear about his story. Apparently he's a killer, and I don't want to miss his talk. And I also truly want to network. I want to network with this kind of organization that builds so much greatness in our town. Yeah. I am so privileged to actually be here. And I'm looking forward to all the other years and what they will bring again in this town. Lethbridge is ready to be on the map.
We're here with Suzanne West, who is a keynote speaker here today. So first off, they say to you, hey, you're going to speak at this event. You're going to follow Martin Luther King III. How do you like that?
Part of me was pretty excited. Yeah. I mean, his father's a big hero of mine. And part of it was like, holy crap, how do you follow that? So you can only do your best. And in terms of, he had an amazing talk. Oh my God, I was crying. So he just set up a great emotional field for me. So
actually, and I noticed, I don't know if that was deliberate, dramatic pause, but you talked about being at the Lincoln Memorial and where Martin Luther King gave a speech. Yep. Was that true emotion that you were feeling at that moment?
Oh, absolutely. Everything you saw today was pretty true. Yeah.
Talk about that moment for people who weren't able to see you.
It was a year ago, or not quite a year ago, I was invited to the White House, so I was in Washington, D.C. for the first time. So, of course, I had to go to the Lincoln Memorial because I just have Martin Luther as one of my heroes. And they have this beautiful little plate square on the floor of where he stood at the Lincoln Memorial looking down the mall, where he had his I Have a Dream speech. So I just kind of stood there, and it was just this kind of, I just was overwhelmed with emotion of just kind of really envisioning that moment in time where this was this amazing man sharing his dream with hundreds of thousands of people that stood out on the mall, that he was giving hope to that day, of people that likely didn't feel much hope. And that was, it was just really powerful emotion just to feel his energy really still there, and to feel what that must have felt like. It was just a great joy to be there, yeah.
Talk about, that moment that you were inspired, or, when you had a vision, because this is all about finding your dream and pursuing it. Yeah. So can you remember a time in your life, I hate to use that old Oprah moment, the aha moment, but what was anything that kind of inspired you?
I've had so many inspiring moments in my life. The one that I shared here today was really the moment that was the genesis of Imaginea, the moment that I really understood that I needed to step up how I was making a difference in the world, and that I needed to step up in my industry and to change that industry and to make it into a force for good. Right. And it was that moment that has catalyzed an entire company and movement that we've started. It was amazing.
And as you say, energy and oil doesn't have to be a dirty word necessarily. Tell us about the innovations that you're looking into or creating, or what's your hope for the future in the energy business?
Our high dream is that we produce hydrocarbons in a clean way, so that we will produce them without emissions, without pollution, and without the use of fresh water. So we are not there yet, but we are, making steps towards that. Whether that's we have 2 of our sites being pumped, our pumping wells being pumped by 192 panel solar array, which is really cool. We are working on different collaborative tests with universities around different rhizobacteria that is going to change the way we think of reclamation in terms of addressing the spills and pollution that we've had in the soil. We are looking at producing our own local utilities. So rather than using, a coal-based Alberta grid, we are looking at modular refining. We are looking at different wind technologies that don't have turbines, that can power our own self. We're looking at collaborative opportunities with different countries. Like, literally, I could tell an hour of all the different things. In fact, I would suggest that's actually one of our good problems, is that we have so many ideas, is to focus on the ones that, we still have to just keep marching forward, and we have a certain amount of resources, so we need to sort of pick out of the basket of opportunities, but that's a great problem to have.
And this goes into what Martin Luther King III was talking about, climate change, and kind of the energy business is at the forefront of climate change, and you want to bring a positive result.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is our responsibility as contributors to a lot of the pollution in the world that, we change that climate change, regardless, people, we get into these debates, regardless, what we are doing is not helping Mother Nature. Only humans pollute. We can argue about, CO2 in the atmosphere, etc., whether that's, a natural cycle, whatever. The pollution that we have in the world comes from humans. It did not come from Mother Nature. And that we need to, be accountable for that, and to saying, we need to stop that. I was in Paris when they announced the climate accord, and we have got to stop doing what we're doing if we are going to have a planet, of quality of planet, for the next 10 generations of we're consuming it in an unhealthy way. So we need to be at that forefront, and we can. God, humans are ingenious. We can figure out problems that we want to. We just have to want to solve those problems.
I don't know if you've heard who the president is in the U.S. right now, but Donald Trump, he's he's controversial, and he is sort of one of those guys that doesn't necessarily believe in climate change. So you in the energy business, and knowing that you have to make changes, what's your conversation with a man like Donald Trump?
I don't see his name. We refer to him as he who shall not be named.
Trumpy. I like to call him Trumpy.
Because when we say his name, we give him power, and we need to stop doing that. In terms of, hey, he can believe whatever he believes. That is, it's not where the world is moving. Like, he's just outside of where the world is moving to clean, affordable energy. He is outside where the science is. He's just outside almost everything from where humans, should sort of be. So I don't spend very much time in debating that. I know what I have to do. I know what's important to do. And if you really want to take, quota, how do we solve that problem, is I'm going to create a game he has no game for, which is clean hydrocarbons. That is the way of the future. And I'm looking to the future, he's looking to the past.
I want to go back to, you got invited to the White House. A, how cool was that? And two, did you steal anything from there? A little White House towel, a napkin?
It's super cool to get invited to the White House. The security is quite extensive, so there is no stealing.
Obama time too, right?
That was Obama time, yeah. And the security is quite high, so there's no stealing stuff. And not that there'd be no point in that either, of, to just go, and there are many people that are deeply committed to preserving Obama's climate change legacy. And so the fun story was that I was speaking last year at a conference which was speaking about how to accelerate technology. So I was a keynote speaker, so I spoke. And then afterwards, a gentleman from Mexico came. He's the president of Green Momentum, which is a think tank, a climate change think tank that consults to the Mexican government. And he says, wow, I got to tell you this crazy synchronicity story. He said, 2 weeks ago I was at the White House, and there was a group of them that are called the Champions of Change program, which are all the companies that have received funding from Obama's climate change initiatives. And he says we were kind of commiserating that our funding was ending, but we were also brainstorming as to how to preserve Obama's legacy. So he says one person in the group said, we have to be as crazy as her. And he pointed to a picture of me. And so he says, I didn't know who you were, so I Googled you. And he says, and now you're talking here like in the next 2 weeks.
So you're crazy in a good way, though.
I am crazy in a good way. So, I mean, there are many people deeply committed to moving this forward, and we just need to focus. We have too much negative. If we focus on negative, that's just what we have. So I'm not going to debate with them. I'm just going to go do what I know we need to do.
Now, being here with Teamwork Training, what's that experience been like for you to be talking to these people? And also, like I've been saying throughout the day, nice to have young kids to hear the message and to be inspired.
One of our favorite groups is the millennials, and also I speak a lot at the the SAITs and the universities, because the future is theirs, and they are, we share our story and our vision, and they don't need much convincing of that. They're excited about it. They want to help us. So it is they will be the generation that truly, I'm just sort of paving some of the way, but that will be the generation that comes and really embraces different organizational models, different business models, ones that are more holistic in their view, that they're not leaving behind human capital, nature's capital. They're doing things in that more holistic way. So they're a key group that will be the change makers of the future. So if I can inspire them to help them believe that there is hope, that we won't all screw it up before they get there, then I've done my job.
If you're in the energy business and then someone came up to you, we've discovered a way that we don't need oil, gas, fuel, solar power, wind power, anything. This thing, and it doesn't create any pollution. Yeah. We've got it fixed. What would you think?
I would be so happy.
You'd be out of a job.
But we need to think about it that is a big win for this planet in the future. So there would be nothing but a celebration for me. Because remember that we have to get into a mindset that we are going to be continually disrupted. Every think tank will tell you in 15 years from now, 60% of the jobs don't exist today. Like, everybody is going to have to reinvent themselves. And 15 years from now, we're going to reinvent ourselves again, because the next 15 years, those jobs won't. We have to just get in this mindset that if my job went away, it's like, oh, well, I guess I got to think of a new way to add value. So that rather than have the pity party about it, is to just saying, oh, that's just natural. That's how Mother Nature, that's how evolution works. When we have a change in circumstance, if I was a plant and all of a sudden it was a drought, I wouldn't go, oh, crap. I'd just figure out I need to become more drought resistant. And I would adjust my DNA to then be more drought resistant rather than saying, oh, crap. Like, we need to build that sort of adaptation skills in ourselves and in our communities, in our education systems, in our businesses, so that, because there will be lots more disruption happening. I'll create a clean hydrocarbon and then somebody will think of something better. So we just have to be in that mindset that continually disrupting ourselves in really positive ways.
So always have a backup plan when the boss comes into you and says, we're going in another direction.
Yes. Exactly. Or to look at, we have a little bit of funniness as human beings, is that we mostly resist change, when in fact change could be really amazing.
Hey, one of the big things that's going on here is these books, and you're with the Lethbridge Public Library. Tell us who you are and what you're doing here.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm the Digital Resources Librarian at the Lethbridge Public Library. We brought in a collection of pop-up library. People can take out books on leadership, how to improve their business, and all sorts of things here. Yeah.
So these are all, some of these authors that are here, or these are just other authors?
Some of the authors are here. We have this one right here. These books are also, through the bookstore, are available for sale as well. But anybody can come in, take them out, and take them right from the conference here.
What do we got going on here?
We've got a book sale table happening here with all of today's books, the speakers that are here today. Yep. We have signed and unsigned books for purchase. We've got a couple books from our last year's conference that are available. And we've got bundles we can sell or individual books.
And I noticed the Buzz Aldrin's book, Mission to Mars. Yeah. How cool is that one?
It's a great one. We also have signed and unsigned ones of that book from last year.
You know what? I've been to Mars.
Oh, I bet you have.
I have. It's really cool there. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. I had to make a tough choice. I could have gone to Edmonton today with 200 mayors, or I could have stayed here in the community.
It is the mayor of Lethbridge, Chris Spearman.
He now.
You just came back from China, of course, with a wonderful delegation. And how was that trip for you?
Well, that was a tremendous trip in terms of making connections, certainly putting the name of Lethbridge forward. They're very interested in food production and manufactured food, and that's what we do well. So we had tremendous meetings in 4 cities, and we got great media coverage over there. Right. So I think with the connections we made, we're well positioned to boost investment here in the city and create business opportunities for industries that are already here.
And now, of course, when you're here at this Business Development Day, you're going to take a lot of stuff here and maybe apply that to what you've already got.
These have been great events. I've attended Greatness in Leadership the last 2 years, and I'm looking forward to the third one. Always great speakers, great messages, and certainly you can take away something from everything. I think one of the key messages today is the idea about dreaming about what's possible. So Martin Luther King talked in 1963 in front of the Lincoln Memorial about the dream, about everybody participating.
Right. Oh my God, Dreamweaver is being played right now. How appropriate. Go ahead.
Yep. But in Lethbridge, our city motto is Gateway to Opportunity.
Yeah.
It's Gateway for Opportunity for all. So we need to make sure that everybody who comes to our city participates that. And we've seen entrepreneurs come here from other countries, create businesses, employ people, and create opportunity for others. You know, we have one of Canada's best universities, a fantastic college. We see the community supporting both our educational institutions, and by that they're investing in people and investing in youth.
And a lot of those kids are here today too.
They are.
Yeah.
And so it's great for them. You know, they may or may not stay in Lethbridge, but what's exciting is more and more people are staying in Lethbridge. You know, the 30 to 39 age group is now the largest demographic in our city, and they have kids.
Right. Keep on dreaming.
All right.
Hey, what makes every event important is having a good hostess. And you're Kate, you're a great hostess, right?
I am, thank you.
Tell us what you do. What's going on when there's something like this?
Oh, we look after to make sure people have found their seats, no one is in trouble. Just generally help them out.
Has everyone found their seat so far today?
I think so.
It's a reminder I want each one of you to walk away with today is how are you going to leave here and how are you going to be a difference maker that 50 years from now someone's going to celebrate the work that you did. So if there's a challenge they can leave with you, it's that. Walk away, how can you make a difference in your organization, in your community, or overall in society?
Well, thanks very much and good afternoon. It's certainly a great honor to be here to tell a story about a project that started with a big dream and has turned into something that is truly historic and has ignited an unprecedented period of growth and development in Edmonton, which is literally transforming our city.
One of the keynote speakers today at Teamwork and Training Leadership Management Day, Bob Black. Welcome. Tell us a little bit about your message that you're bringing here to this day.
We in Edmonton have just come through a really interesting and pivotal period in our city's history, and it's all arises from the negotiations around what is now Rogers Place and Ice District around it. And I think that we went through a process which was perilously close at times to failure. It was a tremendously complex and difficult negotiation. But fortunately, both parties found the wisdom and the courage to find the way to make a deal. And we look now, some 3 years later, at an arena that is attracting worldwide attention, that is in fact being lauded by many as the finest arena in the world. And a catalyst in our downtown core, which is leading to an absolutely unprecedented level of development. Ice District, which is rapidly on the rise across the street from Rogers Place, in its first phase is a $2.5 billion development. And all around Ice District is taking place a tremendous amount of commercial residential development that is literally transforming our city. And really, truly, we are seeing developing before us the realization of a dream that was many years in the making, that could easily have failed, but rather is creating something really special, and is really realizing upon that vision that began so many years ago to do something that was really once in a generation in terms of the impact it could have.
Of course, Calgary is probably experiencing arena envy right now, right?
Yes, I rather suspect Calgary is, and Calgary is now embarking very much on that same journey, and they are tremendously complex negotiations. I would point to our project as truly being a hallmark of partnership. We were able to achieve a public-private partnership with the City of Edmonton, which I think is a model for public-private partnerships. And I'll say plainly that we were able to achieve things working together that I don't think either one of us could have achieved working alone.
How much of being, because you're a lawyer, how much of being a lawyer played into this? I mean, is that important, or is it just something we say, I have a dream, I have a vision, I want to coordinate, I want to work with people? What side of being a lawyer is this for you in this negotiation that you went through?
I think my legal training was of substantial assistance to me in many ways in this process, in terms of the negotiations, in terms of the ability to advocate a vision, in terms of my understanding from being a construction litigator of the basics of construction. But really, truly, this was a vision of Daryl Cates, and Daryl's an Edmonton boy who believed in the unbridled potential of his hometown, and this was a process which had many hurdles in it, and there were times where I think one could have easily understood if he'd said, I tried really hard, I just couldn't make it happen.
So what was the one thing that said, we got over this hump because of?
Well, it's interesting because I think the reason that we were able to make a deal, the reasons, I think there were two actually. One is that I think that we had two shared objectives between our organization, the City of Edmonton. One was the long-term sustainability of the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, and a recognition that that couldn't take place within the context of the second oldest, second smallest arena in the league's second smallest media market, and being the only team in the NHL not to receive non-hockey revenues. The other was, I think that both of us embraced the view that an arena done right in the downtown core could be a catalyst for revitalization of the downtown core. But the other thing that happened is that all the time that we spent together in the negotiations, which were at times were acrimonious, landed us in a place where we had real relationships and where we had not only communication but ultimately trust. And it was that trust, I think, that paved the way to a solution, and that caused both parties to realize that this was too good an opportunity mutually to let pass. And that was only after a much publicized divorce where the city terminated negotiations with us, where we had a fundamental breakdown in terms of the breadth of the vision. We aspired to create something which was absolutely world-class. Our objective was to create the world's best. We had to overcome a sentiment that something less would be good enough. And ultimately, it took a lot of courage for City Council to embrace the big vision. And that swims against the stream so often of what happens in municipal politics, where there's so many competing priorities, and you end up watering down a particular project in order to make another one possible.
So how exciting is it to almost be a sign of relief when you say, we've got Connor McDavid for one thing. And this young up-and-coming country star named Garth Brooks just had his 5 millionth fan at our place. Pretty cool, just to sort of say, see, this is what can happen.
It's incredible. Yeah. It's incredible. We had 860,000 people in that building in the first 100 days, which was more than Las Vegas and Sacramento, the other two new arenas in North America, had combined. We've just come off of 9 shows of Garth Brooks, 170,000 people in the building, $41.3 million worth of economic impact in our downtown. The bars, the restaurants, the hotels, the streets were just full of people. And, you know, it really is absolute proof that the vision was well-founded, and that great things are achievable if you can find the path to move them forward. And that path at Edmonton was a really, truly remarkable public-private partnership.
Teamwork Training is who brought you in here. Your thoughts about the organization and this event that's taking place here today?
It's incredible to sit and listen to Martin Luther King III this morning. You know, the son of an absolute icon in world history. To see an agenda that includes Mark Messier, 6-time Stanley Cup champion. I absolutely applaud the organization for thinking big in its own right, and this is a great community, but it's a community that is showing indications of not succumbing to being a smaller community.
One last question. How many times do people come up to you and say, you got tickets for that Oilers game?
I do get a lot of requests. But you know what?
Battle of Alberta coming up, maybe.
You know what? The level of excitement in Oilers hockey is extremely gratifying. And to be in a circumstance where we're looking at a playoff run here, and even the prospect of the potential of a Battle of Alberta is just igniting the passions in Edmonton. It's really fun times.
So guys, we're here in the food line up here. That's the important thing, of course. But how do you think this conference has gone so far?
I think it's fantastic. Great speakers, great people in the business community, lots to take home. Great to bring it all back into your companies and learn from it.
Is there something that you can think of right now that you really got from this so far?
I think putting profit into the environment, to helping people, making everything work, stepping out of the box a little bit. Great for everybody to take home and learn from it.
What's been the highlights for you?
I think for me it's just really a recharge for everybody. It's we get into that day-to-day grind and we forget about the important pieces, and it's the people, profit, and planet. I think that's a really important piece of that David's mission.
Has there been one particular speaker that stood out for you?
Listening to Martin Luther King obviously was a highlight, but I really enjoyed Ty Bennett. Just very practical advice and very practical messages. So.
And now for $1,000, what's the song they're playing behind you?
Give me my money, or I'll be really upset.
No. Thank you. So you guys are volunteers here at the Greatness and Leadership?
Yeah, we're ambassadors.
So what does an ambassador do?
We sit with their table and we kind of take care of them, just fill their water glasses and make sure they have coffee if they need it.
And what's it been like for you here today?
Oh, it's been a really cool experience because we get to come and get this experience through the school, and then we do our little part, and then our tickets are free.
Oh, wow. What school are you guys from?
For Lethbridge College.
Lethbridge College, so what are you taking?
Business management.
So this is kind of goes hand in hand with what you're
it
taking?
kind of just coincides with the program, so we really appreciate that we got the tickets from our chair, so it's awesome.
So you're supposed to look after the people, but do you still have a chance to hear them speak?
Yeah, we do. We get to listen to them speak, so it's pretty good.
Now I know because you're not of the same generation as me. We've got someone like Martin Luther King III.
Yeah.
What does he mean to you, if anything?
I think he's a good leader for our generation as well, because I think our generation is moving towards something where he's kind of preaching where we're all trying to be one, and we're kind of just getting rid of all the negativity and trying to make everyone unite as one. So I think it's really awesome that he's kind of here and talking about it. So it's really awesome.
All of the speakers said it's so great to see the youth here. Are you taking it all in? Are you taking advantage of what this opportunity is for you?
Well, I'm a different role, and I organized all the student ambassadors for today. So for me, it's been
still young.
I know, I just graduated last year, but it's been so exciting for me to engage with these 86 students and see how much they can get out of the event. So, and both from the speakers and from industry professionals at the table who have so much industry knowledge and experience.
So if there's one thing you can take from this today, what would it be?
Take a chance. Go talk to that person who's standing by themselves in the corner. You don't know where it's going to lead or what it's going to get you, so take a chance.
Which person? No,
that person in that corner, but maybe that corner.
Hey, good. Thanks, you guys. One of the featured speakers, Ty Bennett. First off, welcome to Lethbridge with this Greatness and Leadership Management Day. What did you think of what you've seen so far?
Well, the event's been amazing. Obviously, the people they've been able to bring in, I'm honored to be able to share the stage with some of these great people. But the team that's put the event together, they've been fantastic just in how they've helped with everything. And it's been fun. I'm excited to be able to go down and do a book signing, interact with everybody, and get some feedback. But the audience was great.
Your message is partnership is the new leadership, and actually that was a theme throughout all of the speakers today, which
Yeah,
is
it seemed like
so you knew what you were talking about.
Well, I was just happy to hear it come up so often. I think, you had stories of great partnerships that brought together great things, and I think it's just where our world's at today. I think we need to look at things from a partnership perspective. How do we gain collaboration and not just be in a competitive mode? And so I was happy to hear that kind of resonate throughout the day.
Where did you come up with this idea of wanting to be an entrepreneur and going for the dreams that you set out for yourself? How did that begin? Where did it all start?
As a kid, I've always been very entrepreneurial. My parents, I was very fortunate to have parents who taught me to work hard. One concept they always seem to bring up is that where much is given, much is required. And I just always had this feeling like I was supposed to go out in the world and make an impact. That led me to studying entrepreneurship in school, and my brother and I were there together and started a business together, and from there things started to snowball, I guess.
You tell some great stories about people who see you and they don't expect you to be who you are, but that's all part of who you are.
Well, it makes it fun. Yeah, walking around here, when we first got here this morning, they kept asking why we were trying to come up to the suites, but no, it's fun. I think sometimes it's nice to be. The feedback I get is that it's always good to have a fresh voice, and I'm young and had experience that's very recent, and so I talk a lot about how leadership applies in today's world, and I think that's important.
What kind of reaction do you get, like you're a young guy going into I have to say, if I was working at a company and you came in and I'd been there for 20 years and you're coming in and telling me what to do, I'd be a little, I don't like this guy. He's too young to be able to tell me. But I mean, obviously the message is what the important thing is. So how do you respond to people who don't like the young punk that's coming to town?
It's funny. I know going into it that there are people who are sitting there thinking that. I strategically tell some stories to address that fact. I mean, the story I opened with today kind of addressed that idea. And I almost always have somebody after a speech come up and go, I looked at you and thought, I can't learn anything from him, but then you won me over. And I think, part of it is, as a speaker, you have to win them over with humor and with good insights and with some great stories that bring them in. But, at the end of the day, my job is to make a connection with the audience. And if I do that well, then any preconceived notions start to dissipate and we can really focus in on the message.
So how many of these do you do in a given year? How busy are you?
I speak about 100 times a year, all throughout North America, some internationally, but the majority are in the U.S. and Canada.
And your general thoughts about the world we're living in right now with things that are going on in the States, anything that's in Canada, pipelines, anything political that you're thinking about?
I definitely have political thoughts. I'll probably keep those to myself for now, but I think our world in a lot of ways is in chaos. And when any time you have more chaos going on, the need for leadership is even greater. And so for me, I think it's a chance for us to step up. I think it's a chance for good people to really show what needs to take place. And for me, that inspires a lot of hope.
So if you kind of pulled up to the doors of the White House one day, what do you think they'd say?
I have no political ambition at this point. I think I've been cured of that, watching what's happened in the last couple of years. So, it's an interesting thing to watch, though.
Now, can you invest in me? I just need $20.
Okay. Yeah. Do you take U.S.?
I do, especially U.S. Thank you for. That's Ty Bennett. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, we're here with Washboard. Is it the Washboard Union or just Washboard?
The Washboard.
The Washboard. Okay.
Unless you have a "the" in front of it, then it's the Washboard.
The. Okay, so you get, okay.
No.
Aaron, Chris, David, thank you very much. It's interesting. I've been watching all the speakers today, and then you guys get on the stage and you talk about what you've been through. And really the theme holds true, even though you're in music. Kind of a lot of the big themes is partnership is the new leadership. And so your partnership with people like Ron Sakamoto and that whole journey that you've taken fits in with the business model all the way, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, there's also, and there's as much as ever, people, if you're interested in doing a band or a venture, you've got to be doing it yourself already before people take notice of what you're doing. And just so happened, again, right place, right time for us, and the right partner to see what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, like a lot of situations, a lot of people don't want to be the first to sit down at the table, but Ron is definitely the kind of guy that has no problems being the first to sit down at the table.
And what a great story you told on stage tonight about your mom had just passed away, and Ron was there for you.
Yeah, and I think that somebody who can understand not only what a band goes through in terms of the business world of music, but the fact that we're all people and we have great things happen in our lives and we have difficult things that happen. But it's just a testament to Ron, his dedication to family, the kind of leader he is, that he would be there when I needed him. He's always there when we need him. So
and someone had to say, this is what you're supposed to do for your life.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he did. He's right, yeah.
Just needed to hear it from him.
Yeah. Not a bad guy to hear it from either.
No, totally.
Okay, I got to ask, what made you decide on the beards for you guys? Where's the inspiration?
Well, you're...
Oh, sorry. You're the guy from ZZ Top, right?
He takes the beard questions.
No, I mean, is it just was it a you just decided, or was this is this a business thing?
If it is, we should aim higher.
Finally, something we're good at, huh, Chris?
Yeah.
Giving up is
cool now, huh?
Basically, you just give up for about a year and a half.
Try this. If life's too hard, just try this.
Well, obviously, because this you get some recognition with the beards too, right? So is that
hearing about that.
you get any recognition?
Well, I'll tell you, Mark, it's great. I had the opportunity of walking through the airport by myself on the way here today, and normally when I'm walking by with these guys, we get stopped. Oh, can we get a photo? And so
you're ZZ Top, right?
And so if I'm not walking with these fellows, I'll tell you, I'm known as the other one, the unrecognizable one, right? So unless I'm with them, there's no. I just walk. I do my own thing.
Cool. Let's talk about you guys were talking about the big concert. 20,000 first time. What's that feeling like? And have you been able to do it again?
I always thought that when you played in front of that many people, that it would be impossible to connect. But you actually connect second by second with different people throughout the audience. And it's so important at that time. Since we've been touring over the course of the past year, we got to go to Europe. And you start to see the power of things like YouTube, in that now people who don't even speak English are connecting with you and singing your songs back to you, which is, as an artist, that closes the loop. There is nothing greater than having that feeling, than something you created in a dirty kitchen in Nashville, turning around and having be sung by 10,000 people. It's incredible.
Yeah. And you guys have had some success, a couple of top 10 hits, right?
We've been very, very fortunate. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So where do we go from here?
Well, more music, of course, Mark, right?
Good, yeah. And you guys are all writers?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So we just got back from Nashville, actually, and writing some more tunes. So now we've got, are we at 17 now?
In the last little while, yeah. So we got a new album on the way.
Cool. And isn't there, I've talked to a lot of artists over the years about, ones that don't necessarily make it to the big time, but the experience of going to Nashville to record, there's none like it, because they're so great, the musicians that are down there, the people that help you, and it's just an atmosphere that's so compelling to write music. Mm-hmm. Is that fair?
Yeah. No, we recorded in RCA Studio A, and as we would...
You're Canadian, eh?
Is RCA off?
It's just pronounced RCA.
RCA off? Okay, got it. Okay. And we could feel the ghosts of musicians past in the walls. We would, there's an energy to just even being in the room. Not to mention working with the fabulous musicians. Yeah. But Chris and I had a moment just looking through this tiny 8x10 little window through two different rooms because we're isolated, and just making that connection like through these walls, looking through the same window that these greats and these people who've been before us have been recorded in the same place, and now we're there. And I don't know, it's almost like a skin tingling feeling when you're there.
What also I hear is that these musicians who are backing you up or helping you out, they're rooting for you all the time too, right?
That's one amazing thing about it is you walk into a room and you're playing with some cats that are really seasoned. Yeah. Like these guys know their stuff and they can hold their own with anyone. It's a little intimidating, but you walk into a room and a fellow named Bob Britt's there, fantastic guitar player. Walks over and says, "Hey, you hungry? Do you want half a sandwich?" Just breaks it right down. They're people, right? They're very talented people, but they're people first and foremost. And that was such a great feeling. It's just such a breath of fresh air. Just like great. They're just like us.
So give me a sense of what this experience has been like. Hasn't been a concert. It's been your journey. So what's it been like for you at the Greatness and Leadership, management event?
It's fantastic. I think we should do all our concerts where we just play two songs. We get probably like 4 in a day. No, you know what? We were so honored when Ron asked us to be here. You think about the pantheon of artists that Ron has worked with in the past.
Beverly Mahood.
Exactly, of course, Beverly Mahood. But, we're really honored. Ron has managed very few artists along the way, and we're honored to be one of them, and we're honored that he would ask us to be part of this. And this is just such a great event. We've met the coolest people, and we've never really gotten to spend this much time in Lethbridge. It's been fantastic. So, obviously getting to meet Mark Messier, it's always a good day when that gets to happen.
There's some other guy, Martin Luther King III. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, no, it's been incredible. We couldn't have wished for a better day.
All right. 7 Bridges Road. There are stars in the southern sky. South Okay. We were going to go in. We were going to go further.
You did take the fifth. You did take the fifth. Wow.
Thank you, guys. Fantastic. Appreciate it. Great.
Thank you.
This is Brady Simpson. He's with the University of Lethbridge, and again, what a great opportunity for a university student to see something like this and participate. What's going through your mind today?
Oh, I'm just really excited to see Martin Luther King Jr.'s son. I think that's a great opportunity, and what an example of leadership. As a general management student, leadership is really important to us, and so I think this is a remarkable opportunity.
I always like to find out, especially someone of your age, who knows, how much do you know about the civil rights movement in the 60s, and what that message was all about, and how it's brought up to the 2017 today.
I mean, I think it's mentioned all the time. We talked about the I Have a Dream speech yesterday in class. We talk about it constantly.
Yeah. So what do you want to finally get from this, do you think?
I'm looking kind of in the future. What is my career going to be? I'm looking to be motivated, inspired, and perhaps glean a little bit of what I should be doing to better myself.
Well, best of luck on that.
Great, thanks so much.
This is Vikas, and we just wanted to get a sense of what you're feeling about today's Management Day.
No, I'm looking forward to today. It's an exciting lineup, and I'm thrilled to be here, to be honest, yeah.
Now, I understand you're from Edmonton, so Mark Messier is probably going to be a big guy for you.
He is a big guy for me, yes.
Like, not only physically, but otherwise.
Yes, otherwise. I'm a huge Oilers fan. I've been, because I'm born and raised in Edmonton, yes. So, yeah.
What about, we've talked a lot about Martin Luther King III, who's going to be here with an amazing inspirational father that he had.
Right.
What do you want to get from him?
You know what, just some insight in terms of, the history of Martin Luther King, the background of that, the history of that, but also just to learn and just kind of get the leadership aspect of what he's doing in this, to our generation, but also to get some history and background as to what brought him to where he is today.
Tony Days is going to be interviewing Mark Messier later on the stage. Just found out he's not coming.
Oh. You know what? I'm just going to hang out backstage behind the curtain because that's what I do here. So I'm sure it'll be fine. No, I know he's here, and I know I'm going to talk to him, and it's going to be amazing.
So how did you get this gig?
I think Ryan just felt bad for me because if you don't know already, I was supposed to introduce Wayne Gretzky a couple of years ago, but he jumped the gun, and so he came up on stage while I was waiting backstage, so I just basically had to crawl away with my tail between my legs. So Ryan Miller from Teamwork Select Recruiting felt sorry for me and said, Tony, here's a bone. You can interview Mark Messier. And I'm like, well, all right, if I have to.
So this is a whole pity thing, really.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I will take it.
Yeah. I know that you wanted to get some feedback from a lot of people on your Facebook page. Did you get some good questions?
I did, actually. And most of them were the ones that I thought I would get. How did you feel when you hoisted the cup without Wayne Gretzky, right? Yeah. How did you feel when you were in New York? And you managed to get them to their first Stanley Cup championship in 54 years. But there's also a lot of kind of off-the-cuff questions that I'm actually looking forward to asking them too.
All right. Are you scared, nervous, all about
you know what? I'm probably as nervous as I've ever been in my entire media career, and that's saying a lot because I've done a lot of stuff. But it's kind of a big deal, and he's right up there with the people that I'm really looking forward to meeting.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Ron. Thank you, Washboard Union. Thank you to Will. And thank you to Kenny for being on this stage today with us. And hats off to you, Ron, for everything that you do. We love you, we're proud of you, and love being on this stage with you. Thank you so very much.
Two more presenters, Beverly Mahood and Ron Sakamoto, or should I say man with many songs. Is that what it is?
Owner of many songs.
Owner of many songs. You just got honored with the great Blackfoot tradition.
That was just amazing. It was last Saturday,
yeah.
And I got a Blackfoot name, yeah. And I got to have a Blackfoot headdress, a full eagle feather headdress, which is priceless. It's unbelievable.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you say your name, the Blackfoot name?
Oh, the Blackfoot name? An attempt?
Yes.
Kananishkishki.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. So, Beverly, again, as in the presentations you said, you've known Ron for a long time, your whole career.
My whole career, 20 years. And actually, Ron gave me my first tour with the Gold on Gold Productions, was with Paul Brand. And I'll tell you, I will never forget it because I was treated like I was a headliner. My name was on the dressing room. I had whatever I wanted in my room. And as an opener, you don't feel that. You don't think that's going to happen. But Ron treats everyone with respect no matter who they are.
Well, I've seen that firsthand where, artist after artist says the same thing, that it's so important to be recognized. To see your name on a dressing room has got to be one of the best. It's sort of a thing. I'm here.
Yeah, even if it's written in pen or it's even spelt wrong, it doesn't matter. Somebody put you put your name on a door.
So how important was Ron to your career?
Ron, as you hear from everyone, he's important to everyone's career because he really does take Canadian talent and elevate them to the next level. If you ever want to get to that next level, you got to make sure you get a show with that guy. He really does support within Canada and tries to put them on a pedestal, and the pedestal that they deserve most of the time, but never get to be seen and heard that way. And Ron does it.
Talk about the what's going on here today, and your impression of how things have run.
Oh, I think it's pretty unreal. I mean, I think things like this are really important to have in communities because supporting, people that have made a difference in this world, but also, showcasing people that have supported locally within the community is really important as well because we all come in different shapes and sizes.
And so, Ron, again, here we are back in Lethbridge. You love your community, you give back to the community, and something like this, it's great to share your knowledge as well.
Well, it's really, really an honor to be able to do this here, and it's a great honor to work with Beverly and the Washboard Union and get their help because, it's so important that we push and help Canadian talent as much as we can, because if we don't do it, the Americans aren't.
Speak about Washboard Union, and they're going to be performing a little later on. That's going to be part of it. But what did you see in them, and what makes them tick?
Well, they were really different. They're really nice bunch of guys, first of all, and they're great writers. And I just saw something, and it's starting to transpire now. We're working with them. I got a hold of Gary Borman, who's Keith Urban's manager, a good friend of mine, and we're co-managing the group. We've been working with Warner Brothers in Canada. Now we're trying to get a record deal in the United States, talking to Esposito down there, and so we're trying to get them a United States deal. Whether we get it or not, I'm not sure, but we're certainly, with the guns of Gary Borman, he's got a lot of clout. So that's what I needed to help them with.
Let me give you a scenario. You know of an up-and-coming artist who is going to make you a lot of money, but it turns out he's kind of a jerk. Would you take a chance on him just the same, or would you go for the person who hasn't as much potential but is as genuine as can be?
Okay, let me put it this way. I had a chance. Hank Williams Jr., big name at the time, one of the biggest, to do his tour. I turned it down.
Okay, I guess that's enough said on that, isn't it? Do you want to give a final word, Beverly? You ever been with Hank Williams Jr.?
No, but whatever Ron says about someone is the truth.
Very good. Beverly Mahood, Ron Sakamoto, thank you so much.
I'll never forget, we always played Calgary on the 26th, and we'd play the 23rd at home, and we'd have the 24th and 25th off, and then we'd get in one of these old tiny DC-3s in the middle of the morning on the 26th after a nice relaxing couple of days, nice turkey, a couple of glasses of wine.
Well, Mark Messier, of course, as soon as you hear the name Mark Messier here in southern Alberta in Canada, it's called. And so here you are back in Lethbridge, and I know that you've got a little bit of history, having played with Spruce Grove, and then coming down here to play the Tabor Golden Suns. So what's it like to come back to Lethbridge, and what sort of memories you've got right now?
A lot of memories driving here from Calgary. Been many times on the road, on the bus with the team, and there's just something about driving through Alberta that is very memorable for me and really brings me back home. So good to be back here. I was here last year or the year before with hometown hockey, and always nice to come back to Alberta and see some great people.
Tell me there's a lot of people who are leaders, but not a lot of people are great leaders. What has made you a great leader? And you don't have to be humble about that.
It's hard to say one thing that's made anybody a good leader. I mean, I was fortunate to have good people around me and good role models growing up, from Muhammad Ali to Bobby Orr to Guy Lafleur, and of course my father, who was a hockey player and a great educator and great hockey person who I learned a lot from, and then the people that helped me along the way, and also when I got to the pro game, the great captains that I had and the great leadership that we had as young guys to really help us understand what being a pro is. And so I think when you say, what makes anybody a good leader, I think it's through experiences, positive experiences and negative experiences along the way, and form your own kind of identity of how you think, you want to be perceived and lead. And that's kind of what I did over the years, and had some success, and things fell into place.
Ultimately, what is the role of a captain on a hockey team?
Well, it's many roles a captain serves, and of course, one of the main ones is to be a conduit between the players and the coaching staff and the management, to make sure that everybody is on the same page and has the same focus and the same goals, and to instill the confidence in the players, and to make sure that the players all feel heard, and they feel that they're well represented. They feel that their role in the team is very important to the success of the team, and of course then you got to lead by example as well. So it's multi-dimensional, captain, and of course the most important thing is you got to be able to plan a good Halloween party. That's right. Very important. Very important.
I mean, everybody wants to ask you about the feeling it is of being a Stanley Cup winner, hoisting the cup, and you've done it 5 times with the Oilers, and then the 6th time, of course, with the Rangers. And that particular Stanley Cup, of course, won after such a long drought. And was that much more special than the other ones, or equally, and especially when you've got a city like New York behind that, and the whole history of that it had to be something.
It certainly was, and original 6 team, 54 years without a Stanley Cup, generations of fans that had been waiting to see a Stanley Cup in New York. So it was incredible from that perspective. But every Stanley Cup and every win is unique in its own way. Every team has its own story. Every team is motivated for different reasons. Every team has different players, and what brings each team together is different every year. And you're always trying to find that elusive chemistry that is so much needed in a championship run, but that's the fun of it. That's for me was what I came to training camp every September trying to achieve, and that's what kept me young playing the game, and sometimes it didn't work out, sometimes it did, but for the most part it was always fun trying to chase.
What about, as a captain, what do you do about a player who's got great talent, but off the ice he's got issues, or he's not a great team player? What do you do about guys like that on a team? Because he brings something for the actual game, but he is kind of a distraction for the rest of the team, and maybe ultimately isn't the best fit for it. What can you do about that?
I don't think there's any one thing. I think it's a combination of things, but I think the first and foremost is that if the team and organization has created a culture that they've lived by over a certain amount of time, then every player that comes into that organization is responsible to fall into that culture on and off the ice. And I think good championship teams and good successful organizations and businesses create that culture, so when people do come in from different teams or different areas, they know what's expected of them. It's very defined, it's very clear, and it's up to them to fall in line. And if not, you give that person, in my opinion, every opportunity to learn and learn from his mistakes and make mistakes, but learn from them and continue his own growth as a player on the ice and as a person off the ice. Because, as we've seen, these professional organizations are very important to the communities, and how they're perceived off the ice is an important factor in the team's success on the ice.
So fantastic. What do you think about the Greatness and Leadership event that's taking place in Lethbridge?
Yeah, it's I've been speaking with Ryan, and for me, it's about inspiring our youth. That's what I've really focused in a lot for the last few years since retirement, and creating access and opportunity for our youth, and giving them a pathway and a thread to hang on to, and try to help them find their passion. And once they find their passion, how do they maximize their own potential and reach their own potential? And leadership conferences like this, I think, are a learning opportunity for all of us, of not only how to do what we're doing better, but also help our youth understand what it means to be a leader, and to have the confidence to go out there and try what they really feel is important to them.
Are you okay with the fact that Wayne Gretzky was the first guest, not you?
I am more than happy with Wayne was being the first one here, and it wouldn't be the first time Wayne was the first on something.
And finally, what's your Halloween costume for this year?
I'm always Elvis. I'm always Elvis.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mark Messier.
Thank you.
Stats meant zero to me. And to this day, I never played for stats. I always played, and I grew up, I was programmed at a very early age to try to win. And that's what I tried to do. And my stats grew because I was able to play so long, and I was able to stay healthy.
Okay, Ryan, the stars aligned, the speakers showed up, people had a good time, they had some food. Your son here got an autograph from Mark Messier. How good does that get?
I think that sums it up. It's a pretty good day, Mark. Pretty good day.
What's going through your mind right now? I know you're exhausted, but I would imagine it's an exhaustion in a good way.
It is, and we've got one last part of the event to make it special for some of our key sponsors. And so the night's not quite done, but I think here is, again, in reflection, we were having people such as Martin Luther King III, the son of Martin Luther King Jr., here in Lethbridge, and sharing those experiences, and having such incredible leaders such as Mark, and having inspirational leaders of business people and talented speakers that know how to inspire people. The fact that we have those in Lethbridge, I think that's the pride, that we have that, and we get to be able to get people thinking and look at how do they become better leaders. That's the success.
It was an idea in the first place, and now I think it's become sustainable, don't you think?
We'll see. I think it all starts with a dream, and I think that we hear throughout there is I think Martin Luther King III said it very well, is you may never get there as fully achieving it. It's the persistence of going forward and doing that. So one thing about setting an expectation, then you have to sustain that. Right. So that's the fun challenge going forward.
Very good. I'm sure you're up for the challenge. We'll see you next year.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark. Thank you.